Oh. Reddit libs used to say Nikki should be Biden's VP. Yeah, that's why you get your political commentary from me. Okay? I hope. And every single other dumbass that is basically repeating whatever the fuck they heard on MSNBC looks like a fucking idiot all the time. Not that it matters, because people are not looking for genuine analysis. They're not looking for critical analysis at all. They're looking for someone to literally tell them that things are fine. Functionally, they want to hear someone sing them a lullaby. They want to go to sleep. They want to close their eyes as you whisper sweet nothings into their ears. Anyway, the court is actually, yes, helping Trump, potentially keeping him from doing even dumber shit with that time. That is actually the one aspect of the court that has been saving Trump's ass a little bit, because it limits the amount of campaigning that he can do, and it limits the amount of camera time that he has. So when he's not on camera and the Democratic Party is like openly committing political suicide, okay, this way everybody continues to focus on Joe Brandon and how shit he is. The title of this Atlantic article: Nikki Haley surrendered, but not her voters. Republican primary voters turned to Haley to oppose Trump, and their commitment hasn't changed. By none other than David fucking Frum. Never Trump Republicans. We got this in the bag. Fuck it, dude. I think they should just cut out Kamala Harris and put Nikki Haley in the bag. And then Joe Biden dies, so we can have a Republican female president. That's how you arrive at the first ever Republican president, or that's how you arrive at the first female president. Okay? You cut out Kamala Harris, you put Nikki Haley as the VP, and then Joe Biden dies. Okay? And then boom, first ever female president is a Republican.
He is not the right person to come and talk about affairs in the Middle East at this moment.
The views of Nikki Haley Republicans, pro-Ukraine, pro-Israel, pro-market, reflect all those things that Republicans used to think in that bygone era, when Reagans and Bushes and Romneys roamed the earth. But few feel any emotional bond to Haley. If she gives a Ted Kennedy-style dream she'll never die speech at the Republican convention in Milwaukee this summer, they won't tear up. They'll wonder what the hell she imagines she's talking about. Most of Haley's supporters voted for her as a way to stop Donald Trump. The number of people that did this is so marginal. Oh my God. It's tiny. It's minuscule. She didn't win in a single fucking state. Or wait, she might have won in one state. Did she win in a single state? I don't think she did. I don't even remember, because that's how forgettable her fucking campaign was from the jump. But the Brandon camp has openly stated their desires. They care more about the white voters in the suburbs. They care more about the white voters in the suburbs who are otherwise reactionary, who are otherwise Republican, but hate the aesthetics of Donald Trump. And they care more about courting those people instead of like actually trying to make real promises, demonstrate in good faith that they will carry out former promises that they've made. Take tangible action against the genocidal apartheid regime of Israel, things of that nature that would actually, I think, regalvanize a lot of support in not just the United States of America for the Democratic Party, but like literally from the international community. Isn't that a powerful political block, to be fair? it's not necessarily a powerful political bloc. It's more so a political bloc that if you align with, you have to dramatically change your policy prescriptions, which the Biden campaign is doing. It's no mistake that you are seeing them consistently communicate their desires for more restrictive immigration processes. Like that is a direct way to try and win over educated white racist voters. Okay? That's it. And Biden is winning in that demographic now. That is actually a true change, a real change. Problem is, those guys will still go and vote for the suited up Republican inevitably. When you do not fulfill that desire that they have, and many of them won't even vote for you because they will vote for the guy who maybe they don't like the aesthetics of, but is like openly saying, we are going to do tax cuts again. We are going to do deregulation again. You know?
Republican Party in the Trump era, you must maintain an allyship and at least be somewhat close to Donald Trump. And Nikki Haley, just like she did 8 years ago, is doing that here again.
Are you surprised by this about face, Christina?
Not at all. They all fall in line ultimately. And so, as Vaughn has clearly laid out, I mean, I was never surprised. It was only when would Nikki Haley fall in line and support Donald Trump? I mean, when you're dealing with so many people in a party who have no shame and they're following someone who has absolutely no shame, this isn't a surprise. I think not only will we see her support him and say that she'd vote for him, but we'll see her actually actively assist him in trying to become the next president.
She hasn't gone that far yet, but I do want to play what she has said to just really demonstrate the evolution. Susan, Vaughn quoted her quite a bit, but listen to her in her own words.
I will be voting for Trump. Having said that, I stand by what I said in my suspension speech. Trump would be smart to reach out to the millions of people who voted for me and continue to support me and not assume that they're just going to be with him.
So she has previously called Donald Trump unstable, unhinged, said he wasn't qualified to be president because of his disrespect for the military and her concern over whether he could protect those men and women serving overseas. So I'm wondering, Susan, does she expect the people who have agreed with her in those previous comments and have voted for her for that reason to suddenly follow her lead and vote for Trump now?
Well, I believe that, especially after she suspended her campaign, the people who voted for Nikki Haley are the same small percentage, about 5% of those who voted in numbers-wise in 2020, who were Republicans against Trump. These were anti-Trump votes, not pro-Nikki Haley votes.
I just want to say, in terms of percentages, 27, approximately around 25 to 27%, maybe sometimes lower than that, of the youth vote actually ends up voting for either party. Okay? So in terms of like the number of voters that you could potentially win over, I mean, Bernie Sanders also failed, right, in this regard. But there is an unimaginable amount of young voters you could potentially court. Okay? 5% of these voters that have voted in this demographic that loves voting is inconsequential in comparison to that. The idea that we do not try and actively court, the idea that the Democratic Party does not try and actively court young voters is crazy. We've completely given up on the youth vote. We act like it doesn't exist. And then all we do in terms of like reaching out, in terms of outreach, is basically just go, ugh, you dumb fucks never vote. Fuck you guys. Just go out and vote, you fucking idiot. Like, that's not going to work. It's stupid. Anyway.
And that's where she gets a little confused, I think. But what's also really important is to keep in mind is last week she had a donor retreat. She did not make that comment without running it by them and knowing her political future. So it seemed acceptable for her to get away with doing something like this with her donors. So she went ahead and did it.
All right. Thank you so much, Susan Del Percio, Von Hilliard, Christina Greer. Great to see you all.
Dem's message to voters, like you talk about Bradley Martin. Yeah, we'll get back to the Bronx thing in a second. I do want to briefly cover this very funny thing that happened on Fox News. Customs and Border Patrol has encountered migrants from 150 plus countries. New from Bill Malugan, the national correspondent for Fox News. He went to the border and he interviewed a bunch of the people who were crossing the border illegally. One of those people was a Turkish man. A Turkish man who crossed into Jacumba, California illegally with a group of other Turkish men told me he paid $10,000 to a cartel and expressed shock. He crossed the border and literally said, "Why is this so easy? We need more fucking border patrol."
Did you have to pay a cartel?
Yes,
How much?
around 10,000.
10,000?
Yes. In fact, the American people is right, completely true. Who come into this country, they don't know. Well, okay, I'm good, but how if they're not good? How they're killer, psychopath, else? No guarantee of that. Why?
Bro crossed over the border and immediately became a Republican. Okay? God, I love Turkish people. We are so fucking stupid sometimes. Okay? Jesus Christ. He's like, how do you know? I'm good. How you know?
Like no security, no security check, no background check.
No security check, no background check. You're worrying about who's crossing the border?
Yes. Of course, me because I'm like people are not look normal.
Did you have to?
I love this guy. I love him. He's like, it's not normal. Did you see this hot Turkish immigrant who crossed the border? Please, God, take away every incel drama farming streamer's joy and success and give it to Tadic. He mad as fuck. The cartel not doing background checks. My buddy thinks 90% of the people crossing the border are criminals. So crazy. Yeah, dude, totally. I mean, this is why this is a psyop for more Turkish immigrants in this country, okay? I've never seen I've of course covered the whole like ladder kicking mentality that a lot of like second generation immigrants whose parents might be originally undocumented citizens before. But in my life, I've never seen someone kick the ladder while they are literally on the ladder. Okay? I have never, in all of my years of doing political commentary, ever seen someone directly make an argument for why he shouldn't be allowed in the country. He's like, listen, you don't know. What if I am rapist? What if I am psychopath? Doesn't this completely debunk your pro-illegal immigrant takes? My pro-illegal immigrant takes. Listen, I want more illegal immigrants so they can also see the top of the hour ad break, okay? You know this already. That's why you thought you could fucking bait me with that bullshit ass bait at 2:55, okay? I want more illegal immigrants in the country so they sit around and watch me at twitch.tv/Hasanabi and see a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. I want this Turkish man to no longer watch from Turkey, where there is a currency exchange that gives me like 2 fucking cents when he subscribes from Turkey, but watch me from America so that it is actually $5 that he gives me. $5 to subscribe. Okay, at the top of the hour, where there's a 3-minute ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free, like I said. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Huh. I'm covered. Undocumented. Hasan is on the counterattack after the multiple crits yesterday. Oh, yeah. The full vid.
The president has the authority to do something about this unilaterally.
Turkish migrant says
Congress is
America should be worried about how easy it is to cross the southern border.
Government right now. Why isn't he doing
I gotta grab my food.
Why should he have to do it unilaterally? Why should we do it in a legislative way? And let's not forget that negotiated.
I know, to undo some of.
Wait, so you're right. He took many executive actions before, but in order to deal with what's happening at the border, in order to deal with a broken immigration system, you need law.
As you saw on the right-hand side of your screen, Bill Maloogian talking to a lot of Chinese and Turkish, primarily people crossing the border, while Fox News has pressed the White House on Biden's inaction there. You saw the cameras that are capturing the people who are coming now into mostly Southern California. Bill Maloogian's live in Yacumba. This is the most concentration that we're seeing on the border now is the entrance through California, Bill, right?
Martha, it is, and it is not slowing down. Our CBP sources tell us another 120 Chinese nationals crossed illegally yesterday right here in the San Diego sector, and we were there to witness many of them. We'll get right into this video. Take a look. This was late yesterday afternoon here in Yacumba, right where I'm standing, a mass illegal crossing through private property made up of predominantly Chinese and Turkish nationals. We saw some of them carrying their luggage with them. Some were talking on their iPhones as they walked through. We saw one guy even spray himself down with cologne as he was walking. We tried to chat with some of these people.
That guy was definitely Turkish. The cologne one, 100%. I don't need to know. I know. I know that motherfucker was Turkish, okay? Extremely Turkish behavior to just fucking, you know, pepper on a little bit of cologne before you do a border crossing. Respect. Why are they saying that? Well, because they want to shit on, like, the reason why they're mentioning the iPhones and everything else is because they want to say, like, these guys are not suffering. Like, they're not sufficiently suffering. They're not real refugees. They're just taking advantage of the shitty border policies or whatever. That's the same reason why they talk about the iPhones and everything else. Like, that's it. It's classic. How could they be suffering? They have iPhones.
As they were walking in, some were willing to talk to us. Others had zero interest in being on camera. Take a listen. Where are you from?
China.
What country? China? China. What country are you from?
India.
India. Where are you going?
America.
You're in America. What city?
I don't know.
You don't know? Why'd you come?
I don't know.
Hi guys, where are you from? China? You guys from China? China? Hello, what country? China? No? China?
Phenomenal reporting, sir. Thank you. Phenomenal reporting,
So this
sir.
ended up
Thank
being
you
a group
very
of
much.
about 100 illegal immigrants, again, mainly made up of Chinese and young men from Turkey. A Border Patrol van was actually playing audio in Mandarin, giving instructions to the Chinese. We talked to a Turkish man who spoke English, who said he sold everything he had to get here to the United States. And he also expressed shock at how easy it was for them to just walk across the border into the United States without any resistance. And he said Americans should be worried about who's coming into the country. Take a listen. Did you have to pay a cartel?
Yes,
How much?
around 10,000.
10,000?
Yes. In fact, the American people is right, completely true. Who come into this country, they don't know. Well, okay, I'm good, but how if they're not good? How they're killer, psychopath, else? No guarantee of that. Why, like no security, no security check, no background check.
No security check, no background check. You're worrying about who's crossing the border?
Yes. Of course, me, because I'm like, people are not look normal.
And I asked that.
Dude, brilliant. He's worried, dude. He's like, he's perfectly assimilated. It's ironic because it's a perfect demonstration that like immigrants are capable of assimilation. Okay, that man has become an American the moment that he stepped foot. He was already American before he ever stepped foot inside of U.S. borders, but now he's 100% an American.
That guy, how he managed to get here to the San Diego County border all the way from Turkey. He told me it was a 24-day journey, and some of the places he traveled through included Qatar, Dubai, Egypt, South Africa, and Brazil before he even got to Central America or Mexico. We'll send it back to you.
Wow, and the door's wide open. That is incredible. That's an incredible soundbite, Bill, that this individual who's crossing the border is concerned about the safety of the other people around him. He says, I'm good, but I'm worried because they're letting in everyone, and all you have to do is, country hop for 24.
She's not convinced that he's good. It's awesome. That's awesome. Except Americans, of course, will never welcome him. But,
4 hours, and you too can.
Adam Türkiye'de mülteciye sallamaya o kadar alışmış ki sınırı geçtiği an Amerika'ya gelen mülteciye de sallıyor. Aynen. He's like you don't understand. These immigrants, they could be Syrian.
Can get in and benefit from crossing into America. Incredible coverage, Bill. Thank you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
Stop looking at me this fucking glycine shit, dude. Cringe.
No, I am not.
Who's communist here?
I'm Trump.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I heard there was an asshole over here. Who's the asshole? So you're communist? Are you communist?
I'm not here for nobody. I'm for you.
So what are you against? What are you for? I'm for Trump. What are you for? Are you for Trump? No,
Not for me. Not
really?
for Trump. Not for you. Not for Biden.
Anybody else have anything to say? Anybody? Are you communist?
No, I am not.
Who's communist here?
I'm Trump.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I heard there was an asshole over here. Who's the asshole? So you're communist? Are you communist?
They're only allowed to wear skirts on Fox, or do they allow pants now? I'm trying to eat my food really quickly because we're going to have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on in an hour and maybe even before. Trump will most likely mention AOC on the speech. Apparently, people are handing out Fire AOC stickers. Big Fire AOC banner and stickers are being handed out. And we're gonna have AOC on, of course, in a little bit. Let me eat real quick. Like in half an hour. Okay. Let's look at some of the wonderful scenes from the crowd here.
Are you gay? Are you a homosexual? Are you a homosexual? I got my Why are you getting in my face? I'll be in there right now. Are you a cop? I was a cop too. 88th precinct, Fort Greene, Clinton Hill. No, I'll say whatever the fuck I want. If they want to stop, I'm a whole bitch. But I ain't doing it though. But I ain't doing it, bitch. I ain't doing it, bitch. I ain't doing it, bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm looking at my Get the fuck out. Are you?
Traffic in the area is pretty bad due to closures around the park, and some locals have vented frustration. One woman yelled while walking by, "The bastard ain't even here yet. How are you stopping everything?" There's a man repping Puerto Rico out here. Note the paper towels. Wonderful stuff overall. Here, we'll go. I don't know why the fuck Brian Johnson's there, but... Puerto Rico mentioned, but at what cost? Anyway, we have, let's get back to the congressional Democrats criticizing Netanyahu's potential address to Congress.
And you wouldn't go if he comes.
I will not.
Now, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, has suggested that he would sign on to this invite, although he has not said so publicly. In fact, I asked him earlier this week whether or not he is supportive of the idea of inviting Netanyahu to address a joint meeting of Congress. He would not say, he said that we're having discussions about it, although he has later privately indicated to Speaker Johnson that he would sign on to this. That's what Johnson himself said, Dana, but we have not seen this invite go out yet. This Schumer, of course, is the highest-ranking Jewish Democrat, the first Jewish Senate Majority Leader, someone who has been an Israel hawk and defender for most of his career, but as you noted at the top, has been crosswise with Netanyahu, putting him in a difficult spot.
Okay, Manu. Manu calling him a hawk? Respect. Anyway, here is Fox and Friends talking about AOC.
React from the financial perspective, the author of Making Money, also known as the Money Man, Fox Business Charles Payne. Charles, another $7.7 billion into our debt.
Yeah, and Peter said they're trying to help to address inflation. This is one of the things, the gimmicks that stokes inflation. Yeah. Think about that 3-year period when no one had to pay their student loans. The households had student debt. Their debt went up. They didn't have to pay their student loans. So what did? They went out and spent it. When everyone's spending a lot of money that they're not earning, that stokes inflation. And then on top of it, it is so unfair. Again, listen, it's so interesting. There's 2 separate programs, and it's hard to get the details because they give them these names like low income, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. But let's just say the low income version of this, right, is $1.6 billion out of $1.6 trillion.
Thank you, Money Man. It's never the corporations, right? It's never the corporations doing greedflation, right? It's just people having more disposable income that's bad. I love Fox News because they're like, we love the American working class. And you know what the American working class needs? Austerity. And then so many dummies eat that shit up. And they're like, hell yeah, you're right, brother. I do deserve less money in my pocket.
To me, it underscores the fact that most people who have college degrees in this country are the most blessed people on the planet. They will live longer. They will make millions of dollars more than their American counterparts, millions and millions of dollars more than anybody else on the planet. Their kids will live in less violent neighborhoods, and that they will live a better quality of life. They don't need bailouts.
That's really funny. So the answer should be making sure that everyone has American college education? No. He's not wrong, I know, but his suggestion is fucking insane. Like, initiatives such as the one Biden is championing here, debt reduction for student loan debt holders, is an objectively good thing. It is actually in the direction of making college more affordable, if not free. He literally just described how good it is and how good it would be if there were more educated workers in the broader American working class, only to basically say, no, the goal should be to make it impossible to pay for college so that there are less college educated workers.
Well, the court said you can't do this.
The court, and it's, by the way, unilateral.
Congress.
And it's in Congress. So I hear people like, I'm worried about Donald Trump being a dictator. You mean ignoring the Supreme Court and trampling Congress? You mean that kind of a dictator?
Right. So, Charles, the big question is, and Peter was just talking about how these people who've got the student loans, they get an email that says, hey, your debt's been forgiven. I wonder if any of the student protesters who were arrested or were suspended, will they still have their debt forgiven as well?
So far, they're not going to penalize anyone. If any of them qualify, they'll definitely get more taxpayer money.
That's insane. They're fantasizing. They're like, no, we need to punish them further. Arresting them and beating them up wasn't enough for the crime of saying Israel bad. They should be saddled with lifelong debt that is, and debt relief that is given to others should not be given to them. I love the First Amendment, by the way. I love free speech.
More taxpayer relief.
Where are we getting the money to pay for this?
We just throw it on the pile.
Bring some more.
Another trillion here, another trillion there. So they keep piling it up.
Really, money man? Is that how it's going on? I thought he was the knowledgeable economist here. What the fuck does he mean? We're getting it from the same pile for endless war coffers. It's fake. We print it.
I love that President Trump is going to be giving a speech in the Bronx. I think that Joe Biden should go to Oklahoma and Nebraska and just try to make this one country for a change. Tell us your message.
At the very least, stop demonizing quote unquote MAGA voters as if they're some foreign entity, enemy of the United States. He speaks about half this country as if they're our mortal enemy.
I know, it's a huge problem.
They're neighbors.
AOC was asked about the president's going to the Bronx, and this is which he surmised.
He's hosting a rally to try to con people and try to fleece them out of every dollar that they have to fund his own legal fees. And by the way, he's doing it in the South Bronx not to make a point, but because he's got court. And the man practically has the legal version of an ankle bracelet around him, and he can't leave the 5 boroughs because he always has to be in court. And so it is truly an embarrassment to him. And I am looking forward to the response of everyday Bronxites talking about how they feel about him coming to their backyard.
Bronxites?
Isn't this the person that ran Amazon out of her district?
Right. Not only that, though, the irony is that she would not be in Congress if the third highest ranking Democrat wasn't so arrogant and that he didn't even go campaign. So she understands the importance of campaigning. You know what? Listen, I have a lot of relatives.
Bro, Trump won 16% of the Bronx vote. 15.9 to be exact. He's not going there to campaign. AOC's right. He's going there because he can't go anywhere else. I guess technically you could go to like Staten Island or some shit. So the point is he's going to Bronx to make a statement, I suspect, about how he's going to be like, I'm just like you, just like all the blacks and all the browns being prosecuted by the government falsely. Make me president for that reason so I can continue doing that.
In the South Bronx. I was on the board of a charter school in the South Bronx, and I'm thrilled President Trump is going there. I wish he would go to Harlem. 2 Mondays ago, my niece was shot on the street that I grew up on. My niece was shot on the street that I grew up on. She doesn't even hang out there. She doesn't even live on the block anymore, but a good friend of mine I've known for 45 years, her son passed away, and they were having a memorial for him. And so these guys, the gang violence is on the rise so much, it's so underreported. So they come around with the mask. The shooting crazy. The third floor apartment was all busted up.
Were they looking for somebody in particular?
Yeah, another gang guy. But she had 4-hour surgery. She's okay now. She went home 2 days ago. And then Cookie, who was shot also, she's gone home.
Who's Cookie? The
other girl. The two of them were shot. And so Cookie's the one I've known for 45 years. I went to go visit them both in Harlem Hospital. But it's just, our country is.
Which is why we literally can't do anything about gun control. We must not under any circumstance do something about the millions, well, more guns than there are people in this country. Hundreds of millions of guns in circulation.
It's really getting so cracked apart where the haves are doing extraordinarily well. Right. And again, they live in safety and they live in, they eat their avocado toast, and the rest of us, whether it's in places where the opioid epidemic is out of control, or places like my neighborhood was being gentrified, but this gang thing has really been amazing. I had no idea it was this bad. It's really bad.
You know what's going to happen? These illegal immigrants are gangsters. Yeah. They're going to start fighting American gangs.
They're intertwined. They're intertwined. A buddy of mine in the Bronx, he talked about a lot of illegal immigrants have joined up with certain other, folks. They're all intertwined in these gangs. No one will report on it, but it's really bad.
Charles, can you explain the black male support with Donald Trump? Because there seems to be a divide.
I'm not surprised. I saw this coming in so many ways. And I try to explain it to people all the time. There's two things. Older black people, right, like my mother's age, she passed away, but who they grew up in a time of immense fear. I remember going to Alabama as a kid in the 60s and walking down the road. You could feel it. Even though I was a kid, you could feel there was a palpable fear. There was a blind woman, a white woman who owned this store. It was a shack. She was blind. Coins everywhere. No one stole anything. And I said to myself, even as a kid, someone must have been lynched or something. But there was palpable fear, right? So they grew up with that. My grandmother, she didn't sleep with a pillow. She slept with her arms crossed. She had to have both ears open. She was always afraid the night riders would come and she wanted to hear them.
Oh, my goodness.
There's that group. Then you have young folks, right? My son's 27, so for the last few years I've been listening to music. When they hear Rick Ross and Drake and these guys talking about owning things, they're arguing over who works the hardest. Right. And they don't want public housing, they don't want free housing, they don't want free food. They want the American dream.